The narcissist is very adept at abusing you in the relationship. In fact, some people would say he has an art at doing this. He's learned how to gaslight you to a nth degree, to a place where you just don't even recognize what's true, what's not. You could see the thing that's actually happening, and he would make you believe that it didn't even exist. Like, he would convince you that the grass is blue. He would convince you that the sky is green. He'd convince you all of these different things, so much so because he's so used to it. And because he's just a master at it. It's amazing how many people, when they're inside a toxic relationship, beef up the narcissist like brain power. Like, people will say, like, oh my gosh, he's so smart. Like, I can't figure it out. He's so smart. There's less narcissists that are super smart and more people that just don't understand that this is just how they operate. And they're just a step ahead of you because they're used to lying, they're used to abusing, they don't have this moral conscience because they're not honest with themselves. So as a result, nothing changes, nothing develops. So he just keeps doing the same things over and over. Now, if you've been in a relationship for 1, 5, 25, 40 years, there's going to be different habits that are ingrained inside of you. There's going to be different habits that you believe need to be a part of your life, different things you've learned as coping mechanisms, as ways to be able to get through life without getting yelled at, without getting screamed at, name called, belittled. All of these things you've learned to develop over time. Now, sometimes this can look like narcissistic fleas. Okay, narcissistic fleas are where you're with a narcissist and you start picking up different habits, traits, terms, ideas from the narcissist, not because you're inherently narcissistic, but because you're trying to cope. You're just trying to survive. This will take an honest person and put them into a place of lying, simply because now they're lying to be able to cover themselves so that they don't get yelled at or abused even more. This is where we'll see people that have been in a relationship for years and been faithful. Then the narcissist has been cheating like 24/7 the entire time. And then the person finally gets to a place where she cheats. Because she's been so emotionally abused, she no longer knows where to go. So she spirals out into something trying to be able to find what is going to help me in the moment. What's going to help me actually process this, go through this. Oftentimes not even wanting it, but even going to it almost like an addiction. You see, the narcissist will train you over and over and over how to respond, how to react, and how to fit in the mold that he's looking for you to fit into. So when we talk through this piece of narcissists and manipulating you and controlling you, many of you right now, as you listen to my voice and as you watch the video, would get to a place of saying, yeah, I get that. That's a piece that I resonate with. So here's the piece I want to ask you. Whether you're in the relationship and you're trying to separate or trying to move forward, or whether you're out of the relationship and he's no longer in your life. Okay? The piece that I want you to think of today, that I want you to think, does this actually resonate with me? Does this resonate with how I'm actually showing up? Is this whole piece. You continuing the abuse on yourself. You're like, what? What is he talking about? When you've been in a toxic relationship for such a long period of time, there's certain things that are ingrained in your mindset. So when you leave, you continue having those pieces that are ingrained in your mindset stick with you. This could simply be you've been in a toxic relationship for a long period of time, and he's continually beat you down, mentally and emotionally, eradicating a lot of your value, destroying your worth, making you feel like you're not good enough. But then when you leave the relationship, you take all those stories with you. You take all the conditioning that he placed upon you, and you start to think and believe and feel that that's actually still true. When in reality, it was never true. There's something that he projected and he placed upon you that now you've internalized. You start to feel on a different level. It started to change the narrative of who you actually are versus before, that wasn't the case. You see, when you're with a narcissist, he starts to push different stories and agendas onto you. Yeah, we can call them lies, we can call them beliefs, we can call them whatever, but like he's pushing things onto you. He's telling you that you're not good enough, overtly or covertly. He's telling you that you don't matter, based on his actions, based on his words. He's telling you all these different things that are chipping away at your self-esteem, breaking you down. From the person that you want to be, from the person you currently are, to the person as you continue to move forward, like chipping away. It's almost like this piece is focused on the direction you want to go. And as you do this, he continues to have you veer off just slightly. Not a complete U-turn, not a complete directional change, but just a slight shift. Let me turn you just a little bit to distract you. But then you start to believe that that's the direction you're supposed to go. We've seen this many times inside of your purpose, inside of your vision, inside of your workplace, inside of your calling. Things that before you were dead set on, this is who I am, this is where I'm going, this is what I want to do, and he sidelined you, pushed you to the side. The thing is, when you're out of the relationship, oftentimes we find people that continue the abuse on themselves. Think for a moment when we step into the realm of saying no. You might have had a hard time saying no inside the relationship. Saying no inside of boundaries, saying no to his advances, saying no, whatever it might be. You might have had a hard time saying no. And as a result, as you're out of the relationship, you still have a hard time saying no. But right now it's not to the toxic people because you've worked on eradicating those. Now it's to the healthy people. Now it's the people that are taking your time and attention, and they might not be a bad thing, but it's actually not prioritizing you. You're getting to a place where you're overly stressed, you're frustrated. Just the other day, we were out and about. We had errands to run. We had a bunch of things to do. Someone else said, hey, why don't we get together? We piled everything together, and it just ended up being a super busy and hectic day. And after the end of it, both Kayla and I were like, hey, looking back on it, we probably just should have put a pause or a rain check on the event that was going on that evening. And said hey, we're super tired because there's been a lot of stuff that's happened today. Let's put a pause. We didn't say no in that result. So what happened is you get to a place where you don't say no, and it ends up being something that's negatively affecting you. Now, people get stuck with this because as a nice person that loves other people and cares about other people, you want to say yes to everybody. The problem is when you say yes to everybody, you're actually saying no to yourself. You're oftentimes continuing the same abuse because the things that the narcissist limited in your life, you're limiting in your life. You're just guising it by being with someone that's positive or helping someone that's positive or doing something that's positive. But in reality, it's still hurting you. Where in your life right now are you hurting you by doing something good? Sounds weird, right? I'm doing something good. Yeah, but you're overextended. Yeah, but I'm focused so much on providing for my family. Yeah, but you're not engaged. You're not present. But I'm developing in this area. Yeah, but you're sacrificing that for your own physical health. You see what I mean? There's so many different pieces on this. One of the best ways to be able to illustrate it is kind of like a teeter-totter. I don't have my iPad connected, so I can't draw this out. But a teeter-totter. So up and down, right? And you have this piece of you saying yes to you. Pull this up, then that means you're saying no to other people. You have this other piece where you're saying yes to other people, and then you're saying no to you. When you start to think of it in this light, it starts to switch the perspective because I need you to switch the perspective back to you and however we need to switch it. So instead of thinking, oh, I'm saying no to all these people and I'm disappointing all these people, why don't we just learn how to say yes to you? The same yesness that you're giving to everybody else in your life, why don't we learn how to give that to you? Right now, you probably don't have that, and you probably don't have that to the level that you should. How do I know? Because if I asked you to pull out your calendar right now, you probably don't have yourself on your calendar. If I asked you to sit down and look at a day and actually write out where you are on the day, you might have a struggle to do that because you don't take time for you. You're so busy investing and pouring into other people, you don't realize that you need to be poured into. That you need to be grown and developed. You need to develop who you are. Oftentimes, this is a piece where people get confused because they think, well, I just need to pour into my kids. That's great, but the kids aren't going to get anything if you keep pouring from an empty glass. All they see is you going through the motions, but no transformation happening in your life. And as a result, everything you're trying to teach is falling on deaf ears because you're not living it. Your kids are going to catch more of your life than you will ever teach them. They will pick up on how you act more than you will ever show them and demonstrate as far as teaching them. One of the best phrases I've heard was from Ed Milet on one of his podcasts. He said everything inside of kids and parents and stuff like that. That kids learn more because of what's caught, not taught. They catch these things more. They figure things out based on how you are. I get this all the time where I have moms that reach out and say, how do I help my kids? The first thing I want to say is heal yourself first. It sounds counterintuitive, but you can't bandage up someone else when you're bleeding out. You can't fix other people in your life. You can't be that support and guide and help and provide a container and a space for them to be able to emotionally be there if you can't do that for yourself. Like the whole piece of, well, I'm doing this for my kids, it doesn't work if you're not actually investing time and energy into you. If you're pouring everything into your kids, there's nothing left for you, and your kids are going to see that. They're going to see the shell of a mom that keeps trying to show up, but she's not present, she's not engaged, and she's not able to actually connect with them on a deeper level because you're so stressed out, you're so focused on the situation, and you haven't actually spent time to process it for you. But you're too focused on having them process it. But the problem is you're fighting an uphill battle simply because they're not going to be able to process it till they see a mom that actually can. They're going to catch more of your life than you're ever going to teach. So when you're at a place and you're considering, how do I help my kids? Out of your own healing comes your kids' redemption. Out of your own healing comes your kids' redemption. If you don't heal, they are going to struggle to heal. They're going to have to take on the parent role because you're not stepping up. They're going to have to learn how to fix themselves because they don't get the guidance from you. You might have the words, but you don't have the life. You might have the words that say, this is what you need to do, but they're like, who are you to tell me about my dating relationship when you're stuck with that asshole? They're going to catch more than you're ever going to teach. Where are you at with this? Inside of this video today, what are you feeling? What are you experiencing? Your kids are going to catch more than you're going to teach. You're going to continue the abuse in your life by simply saying no to yourself and giving of yourself to everyone else. You're going to continue the abuse in your life simply by the stories that you're telling yourself, the lies that you're believing on a day-to-day basis. My job is to help break those so they no longer have a hold on you. Give you the frames and the tools so that you can actually eradicate the stories that have been pressed upon you, so you can actually move into a place of confidence. You can stand in a place of clarity that says, I know who I am. I know what I need to do. I know the direction I need to go. And you actually have the certainty of who you are because you put dedicated time on your schedule for your growth, for your development. And as a result, your kids start to see this and they rise up and they grow because they see mom as a beacon of light versus hidden as a shell of a person. If this resonates with you today, I want you to reach out. Go to rawmotivations.com/breakthrough. So I want to show you how to heal, grow, and develop you, because if we don't change and develop how your mindset is, how your thought process is, all the things you do that are good and positive for everyone else will fall short because they're coming from someone that has a glass that's empty. Let's teach you how to fill up your own cup so that you can be a blessing and an encouragement to others by the demonstration of your life. If I can help with that, go to rawmotivations.com/breakthrough today.